Morning. Are you coming in then?
Good morning. What a show we got lined up for you today. It's action-packed today. The one and only Jenny Falconer will be in the house. She'll be throughout the morning and also be cooking for a superstar of the motorsport world, the legend and a good mate of mine. Mr. John McGuinness will be dropping by the house a little bit later. The Holy Grail over there. You've got the chef there already. Mr. Mark Birchall will be here as well, wowing us and with us another one of his 2-star Michelin recipes. And don't miss this week's Little Masterclass, where we'll be teaching you everything you want us to know about barbecuing meat. And that's not all, because I'm also joined by Devon's #1 chef and the man that the great Rick Stein calls the second best chef in Padstow. It's Mr. John Hooker and Paul Ainsworth.
Some introduction, that, isn't it?
So what are you guys cooking then? So, John, you fire away.
So I'm doing a butter-baked piece of cod, and then we're pairing that with some beautiful native lobster from Cornwall, which is bang season. We're going to make a lobster pepper sauce and some beautiful lobster scampi.
Nice. Well, that's the budget gone.
I just had some peas. Now I'm going to do some lovely prawn and crab dumplings, and then we're going to make a beautiful spring soup. So we've got the first of the St Enodoc asparagus, wild garlic, peas. Nice celebration of spring.
Looking forward to that as well. Now, first of all, I thought I'd do a little sea bass ceviche today, when I'm going to use some herbs with a brilliant supplier that I'm going to introduce you to in a minute. But the first thing, we've got some beautiful bit of sea bass, and I'm going to basically chop that up, and I'm going to make a little mayonnaise, and we're going to serve it with these amazing little herbs over here. So first off, I'm going to make the mayonnaise. So just a touch of egg yolks in here, a little bit of mustard, but I'm going to use some yuzu juice, which makes the most amazing mayonnaise over here. So a good dollop of Dijon mustard in there. That's going to go in. And we're just going to blend this all up with just some normal vegetable oil. When you're making mayonnaise, I don't use rapeseed oil, I don't use olive oil, I don't know about you chaps, but whenever I was taught, it was just some normal vegetable oil. And we're just going to pour this in. While I'm adding this, why don't we go and see where these amazing herbs come from? So to find out more about these herbs that I'm going to use for this dish, we're going to head up to the Midlands to speak to Andy Perry from Urban Herbs. Welcome to the show, Andy.
How's it going, guys? You OK?
No, very good. I don't know whether you're in a flight control centre or whether you... This just reminds me of something from The Gentleman. If anybody watches The Gentleman, can we ask you where you are in the Midlands, or is that top secret?
It's a top secret location, a very glamorous location.
Is it
next
really?
Next to Junction 2 of the M5 motorway.
That's all you're going to know as well. So tell me, Andy, how did it all start for you? Because this wasn't your first career. This wasn't your... Well, it's your love anyway, but it wasn't your first career. How did it all start?
Yeah, 15 years ago, I left university, and like most people, I had no idea what to do with my life. And came up with a cunning plan to pay off my tuition fees. I thought I was going to build a polytunnel in my mum and dad's back garden, pot up X number of plants, and use the profit I get from growing these plants to pay off my tuition fees while I'm writing my thesis.
Yeah.
The plan worked, but it worked a little bit too well because I accidentally created this business that I absolutely love. I mean, back then I was growing all sorts of different plants.
Yeah.
But when I went to local farmers markets, it was these herbs, it's the herbs that you guys are working with today that they just captured people's imagination in a way that the other plants didn't.
So where did the love of growing the bits and pieces... That obviously came from when you were a kid then, did it? Because my love of growing bits and pieces, I'm particularly from your folks as well. I remember, my granddad used to have an allotment at the bottom of the garden, and the first thing I did when I moved here, I put a greenhouse in, because it was that smell of tomatoes that my uncle had. That much... It captures your imagination, but, was that with you? That's where you fell in love with it?
No, my parents weren't into gardening, but... my gran grew up on a farm, so I suppose maybe that's where I get it from in the genes. But I discovered it myself, really, just the idea that these small plants, can transform a meal. And I think as a student, I kind of got a kick out of it because students love free things, don't they? And I just absolutely love the fact you can just grow these flavours and they don't cost a lot,
So tell us about the herbs then. You do farmers markets, because these are not your stereotypical herbs that you sort of grow as well. These some of them are quite off the wall, which I think is great.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's kind of varieties that appeal to a very, very different audience to the traditional kind of gardening audience. But also, kind of going back to what you just asked me, people that actually didn't have a relationship with growing things, people that just looked at these plants and thought, do you know what? These are really cool.
Right, so tell us about the really cool plants that you grow, really. One of which you kindly brought these down from your place in your van yesterday for me, and you introduced me to stuff that I'd never even seen before, let alone sort of smelt or tasted. And one of the ones, I'm going to give it to the chaps now, is this one that you've got over here. This is what is an olive herb. What is this?
Yeah, so the olive herb is definitely one of the more unusual varieties that we grow. Essentially, it grows just like rosemary. Really, really easy to grow.
Yeah.
But it's got a beautiful, strong olive flavour contained within the leaves. Straight away, I mean, as soon as I hear that, I'm thinking put it in a cocktail.
Look at
It's off the charts.
Now,
Isn't it?
is it
It's like nothing you've ever tasted before.
I mean, you've never tasted this before.
No, I've never.
I mean,
No,
the cumulative, we've probably got nearly a century of experience between all of us in terms of cooking. Not a tree. Not far.
He's half of it. Yeah,
I am half.
three quarters.
To be fair, I am 3/4. They're only 26. But yeah, I've never seen that. You've never seen that before.
No, never.
No, and that olive one is absolutely
The flavour
mega.
profile on that is like super savoury, but
where
still
is
clean.
where is that native to? Where does that come from?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's in the same family as rosemary.
Right.
And I should say that, you know, we very much gravitate towards these weird and wonderful flavours. And I just wanted to say that, you know, the reaction from you guys there,
Yeah.
that's why I do my job. That's why I love doing this job, because I love it when I meet foodies or chefs who actually just instantly get how cool these varieties are.
Well, it almost sells itself, doesn't it, really?
Yeah,
phenomenal.
That's the key to it. So other ones you've got in there, and ones that I'm familiar with, that I actually tried growing, to be honest, at the bottom of the garden, is the one that I'm going to use for the ceviche, this one. If you want to try this one, this is the Vietnamese coriander.
Vietnamese coriander. I mean, coriander's a flavour that divides opinion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Certainly in my house, anyway. But, you know, let's be honest, normal coriander can be a little bit of a pain to grow. It's an annual that goes to seed very easily.
Yeah.
And the Vietnamese coriander is a perennial that doesn't go to seed. I mean, flavour-wise, it's similar
Really good
to
with
normal
geese,
coriander.
by the way. It's just two have flown over, but yeah, go on.
I mean, flavour-wise, it's not an exact match for coriander.
Right.
You still get a little bit of coriander, but it's a bit lemony.
What do you think of that, chaps? Because that's
Yes.
Again, it's just it's the great thing about herbs. I often find when you walk around a garden centre, you see the stereotypical sort of stuff, but seeing the stuff that you do, I often see. I bought it the other day because you don't often see it. Lemon verbena, I love it.
Yeah.
But there's such a variety still out there. You know, I mean, and one of the things, you know, like the cola plant and pineapple sage, all that kind of stuff. It must be. It's kind of it sells itself, doesn't it? Really, these markets when you get out and about.
Yeah, and they engage the senses in a way that I think so many other plants don't. And I'm a big fan, a big advocate for the well-being benefits actually growing these plants bring. You know, the fact that when you smell these leaves, they just take you away from whatever's going on in your day, don't they? And what's cool, you mentioned the cola plant. The cola plant is a variety that literally reminds me why I love my job. Because when I see you guys interact with it and discover it for the first time, maybe, or it kind of reminds me just how cool these varieties are.
So how do you go from this idea of doing it to what we see behind us? Is this hydroponics that we're doing? What's the purple light, the pinkish light? What is that doing? What's that doing? Where do you grow these sort of things?
So last year I set myself a challenge to see how much food I could grow in the 3 metre by 3 metre front garden, the former Count's house where I live here in the West Midlands. So I've set myself a new challenge, and I'm measuring how much food I can grow in my spare bedroom that I use as an office.
Some boy, isn't he?
How does the other half feel about this, or?
Well, when the YouTube video comes out, you'll see exactly how she feels about it. When some of that shelving actually gave way under the weight of the water,
Right.
So we had a new water feature.
Brilliant. So I've got some of this lovely little Vietnamese coriander. Now we're just going to finish this off And I can't let you go without talking about the book, because you've actually got a book out as well. And this gives you a little insight on what to do, how to grow them, all manner of different things, but also how to utilise. And one thing that I've learned a lot, having had a garden at the bottom, veg garden at the bottom of my garden, is how important wildlife is.
Yeah, so I was challenged to write a love letter to herbs, and it turned into a real kind of beginner's guide that's designed to provide some information about how you can grow these plants, but also, I guess, inspire people to do so. So one of the projects in that book is actually a project called a bee buffet. So it's the idea of actually planting up a buffet for the local bees, varieties that flower at different points through the year, and, you know, gives the local bees a bit of a treat to enjoy throughout the season.
Well, I wish you all the very best of luck with Series 2 of The Gentleman and everything else. I wish you all the very best of luck with doing what you're doing as well. And thank you so much for dropping this down. I'll be nurturing them, we're looking after them throughout the summer, and we look forward to seeing the results of these growing outside later on in the year. But I wish you all the very best of luck with it, and thank you very much. And yeah, maybe not plant them in your bedroom, really, but it proves you can plant them anywhere. But there we go. Thank you. Cheers.
Great to meet you, Andy.
Cheers, guys.
Love your
Thank
work,
you so
Andy.
much.
Cheers, boss. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So there you have it. A little simple sea bass ceviche with a few little of these amazing different herbs. Easy as that.
Beautiful.
Right, gentlemen, there you go.
Stunning, James. Thank you very much.
You got knives and forks there.
Thank you.
That's what
Thank
you
you.
think. Destroy all that work, Mr. Ainsworth. Look at that.
Doing a wanna.
That's beautiful, James.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Little sea bass, little bit of ponzu.
Stunning, that.
Happy
So
with that?
fresh. That's beautiful.
Good start. There
Yeah.
you go. Paul will be treating us to a prawn and crab dumpling later on, and I'll be serving a cracking chicken dish for Jenny Faulkner very shortly. But don't go anywhere, because after the break, we've got more fantastic food for you, courtesy of that man over there, Mr. John Hooker. I'll see you in a minute. You've got 3 minutes.
We chef.
Welcome back. Now, coming up, we've got a motorsport legend in the house in the way of John McGuinness. He's very excited over there. He'll be making a pit stop down in Hampshire today. And the brilliant Jenny Faulkner will be joining me in the kitchen. That's coming up next. But first, I'm here with Mark and Paul. We're about to enjoy a dish from a chef whose Tavistock pub has set the Devon food scene alight. You happy with that?
Take that, chef.
I wrote that one. That was
Yeah, it's good,
wasn't
it's
it?
good. Just so kind.
There you go. And he's just down the road from Paul's place, so where he gets his ears syringed, apparently. But anyway, it's Mr. John Hooker. Hey! So you can get your ears and get fed at the same place at your place, don't you?
Tabby's where it's at. Yeah, Tabby's where it's at.
It's the last time he was on, this is where Paul stops off, apparently, to get something to eat and his ears done.
His trade's gone through the roof.
I like to kind of let people know about all the services available in the southwest.
You were quite, yeah, exactly. You're quite honest at that one as well. Right, what are we doing?
So, James, we are doing a butter-baked fillet of cod for a line-caught day-baked Cornish cod. Then together with that, we've got some beautiful native lobsters, which are banging season at the moment. We're going to make a stock out of that, turn it into a peppered lobster sauce, and then to go with that, we've got some lobster scampi.
Sounds pretty good to me. You want me to do the stock bit?
Yeah,
of
if
it
you
as
could
well,
just get a like a mirepoix on the go, and then start roasting that off.
these bits and pieces that we've got over here. So
Yeah, what I'm going to do, James, is I'm going to.
Yeah, what are you going to do anyway? Since I've got a lot.
So here we've got a couple of.
Just saying.
Paula.
Right, what are you going to do?
So I'm going to lightly salt the cod. So before we bake it, we're going to lightly salt it just to firm it up.
Yeah.
And again, for the cooking process, we're not going to pan fry it or anything or baste it in a bone. We're going to bake it in the butter. So we're going to lightly salt the cod.
Lovely way to cook fish, that.
Yeah, and these here are quite small, like for a cod loin, really, because they're loin caught day bake ones. So if you had a larger fillet of cod, you'd salt it, probably harder, and then rinse it off and then portion it. But these, I would just leave salted and then we're just going to bake it.
Salting it is just going to firm up the flesh a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can either use table salt or rock salt, and again, just evenly distribute over the fillet. And again, it just firms it up, seasons it, cures it a little bit, so then you get that nice cook right the way through for the cuisson.
It's
brings the flavour out nicely.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Just
intensifies it.
just a little technique we use. Yeah. So we're going to roll that really tight.
This on it, the Cornish, John.
Yeah. So this is a Cornish arms dish. So we have a lobster scampi on here. Then my other pub, the Blacksters Arms, just up the road, we do a monkfish scampi.
Well, I've been to both.
Yeah.
You've just opened the new one, haven't you? Really?
Yeah. So that opened late last year, late to 2023.
Yeah.
So that's 4 miles up the road from the Cornish, where the Cornish is like, more gastronomic, just been placed second in the top 50 gastropubs in the country.
I didn't ask you that, but you could.
Get in.
I was going to ask you that, but you just threw it in.
Oh, but anyway, and when
Mariners was number 3, wasn't it?
Second best restaurant in the UK.
Yeah.
I'll just stay quiet.
Mariners and the Cornish in the southwest, top 3 is amazing. But so with this fish, we're going to lightly bake it.
Yeah, back to the fish.
Back to the fish. So we're going to just
Right,
bake
I've got the spices that we've got in front of there. Star anise, a little bit of cumin, peppercorns, tomato puree on in there, and you've got the shells.
Yeah, and another good technique, James, just ruin one of your... smack it up. Some prawns in there as well, please, chef.
Yeah, we won't bother with that.
No?
Just keep
Ruin your-
wreck my new rolling pin.
Season it a bit. We're going to season this cod a bit more.
So then you want some white wine in here?
Yeah, deglass it with some white wine.
Yeah.
Please. I'm going to get the cod baking.
And that doesn't take very long at all, that, does it? In there?
No.
What temperature on there?
So we're baking this... Oh, I actually got it under the grill.
Okay.
So we're just going to lightly grill it, and then that butter and white wine will emulsify, and then we're going to finish it with a beurre mosette, just to give that a lovely nuttiness.
Nice.
So
baste it as we go.
In here, once you've got in here, you want 2 different types of stock in here, is that right?
Yeah, so what we've got, James, we've got a white chicken stock, which we've just made out of chicken wings.
Yeah.
And again, that's going to give a lovely, rounded depth of flavour. Then we've also got a white fish stock. And so you bring this up to the simmer.
So was the pub that you took over recently, was that a current pub that you took over, or was it disused pub?
It was a bit of a rundown pub, should we say?
Right, okay.
So we
Was it a big project for you to turn it
massive.
around?
Yeah, you've seen it.
And you turned it around quite quickly, though, didn't you?
Yeah, we flipped it in 11 weeks. Yeah, full refit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And again, it's just like a real, authentic Great British pub for the locals. For the local community, more accessible compared to the price point of what the Cornish is. But we do a really good ham-maker chips, a really good ploughman's, banging curries, good service, good environment.
Stop talking and get cooking.
That's the pubs, yeah. Oh, what we've got to do? Our lobster scampi. Stick with fish, chef.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is fine.
So
So
we've got to do a bit more talking.
Fish is
quite
fine.
there,
Fish
yeah?
is fine. So I'm taking the heads and shells off these prawns. You use the shells from the lobster, and then.
Yeah, and so with this stock, then you bring that to the boil, let it simmer for, say, I usually do it for about 40 minutes to an hour.
Right.
And then you'll pass that off for a fine sieve, and you're left with this really aromatic, sweet lobster stock.
Sounds good.
Which is going to be base for our sauce.
Okay, so that's that one in there.
And the lobster scampi.
So leave that gently cooking away there, and I'll bring this one across. Do you want this warming up?
Yes, please, chef.
There you go. All right. And are you using these prawns or not?
No, those are done, chef.
Not using them.
Nice peeled.
Yeah, I just peel them.
Smash that. You can smash them all in, flavour.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
And then with this, we're just going to lightly pane these.
Right. So usually flour, egg, and breadcrumb. You've got corn flour, egg white, and breadcrumb.
Yeah, so the corn flour gives it a nice even coating. So we're going to get better, I don't want it to be too floury on the cook.
That goes in here.
Yeah, there
All
we
right.
go. Going to get a little production.
So
on
have you
there,
got any
James.
plans to open another one, or is that this thing?
No, not at the
It
moment.
takes a lot of work what you're doing, isn't it?
We've had a busy year.
Yeah.
We've had a busy 12 months. I've got a very young family. I've got 3 beautiful young boys that I need to look after and nourish and be there for. So
And how old are the little ones?
all 3 boys. Joseph is 9, Jacoby's nearly 3, and then young Teddy Teddy was 2 weeks old when we got the second pup.
Right.
So yeah, my household's a busy place.
So give it a few years and meeting some girls down from Cornwall.
Cece and Joseph.
Yeah, you keep them boys well away from my girls. If they're anything like their dad.
That's a recipe for disaster, me and you, isn't it, eh? Yeah, they're baking away lovely.
Right,
now.
you want me to deep fry these then, yeah?
Yes, deep fry them and hold them, yeah, and I'm going to finish making the sauce.
Okay, so make the sauce then. Where you go? What's in the sauce?
So we're going to toast off again, never too much butter.
Right. What are we doing with this fish? Is this just...
That's done, that's redundant, so it's just showing
put
the
it in the
guys.
fridge
that's
or what?
Yes, please. And the prawns can go.
Doing a good job
Thank you.
there.
Thanks very much, yeah. Right.
He's a good assistant, Czar James.
Right.
So you just want to lightly toast off some... So what we've got here is
So this is the sauce bit. So we've
these
got
are green.
stock made.
Yeah, so we've got had some pink peppercorns running through that.
Okay.
For, again, for part of the aromats. And here, we've got some green peppercorns that have been pickled down and put in brine. So we're going to toast off some chopped green peppercorns. And again, the whole idea of this is doing almost like a seafood shellfish version of like a classic sauce au poivre.
Okay.
You know, like... So you're toasting those off.
Yeah. All right, I'll check the fish for you.
Yeah.
That buttery shellfish.
Then a bit of brandy.
Beautiful.
So just going to re-emulsify that butter with some brandy. And then cook that out a little bit.
Right, I'm going to put the lobster. This doesn't take very long at all, though.
No, just a minute and a half or so, James.
That's going to go in there. Yep. Right,
So,
cod,
yeah,
cod. Cod.
Yeah, the cod's looking beautiful.
Oh, look at that.
And again, slightly baked. So what we can do now...
That's great, isn't it?
It's
So
really
simple
well
to
done.
cook fish like that.
Yeah, and I know I've cooked fish like this on here before, but it's just having, not putting everything in a pan and just like
Look at that.
hammering the life
Smells
out of
amazing.
it. It's proper just old school cookery, which is what I'm about, really. You know, just base that on there.
Right, your nice little
Scampi's
lobster.
looking good.
Your lovely lobster scampi's done. And you're going to finish off this scampi doing something slightly different as well.
Yeah, so if you just look
This
off
one.
that sauce, chef, and multiply that butter into it. So then also with the... What's that burn? We've got some burn rosette as well, which is a brown nut butter. Again, I'd just like to incorporate that flavour of the brown nut onto the fish.
So this
as well.
is just nut brown butter. Do you put
Yeah.
lemon in it as well? or
No,
not?
I haven't finished that with lemon, actually, because we're going to finish this with some fresh lime.
So you've just got the butter in there. You're going to reduce this down.
Yeah, and then with the lobster scampi, what we've got here is a beautiful lime dressing, which we've made out of sugar, lime juice, and rice wine vinegar, and we've reduced it down to a syrup.
Okay.
And we're just going to dress the scampi with that, and it gives a beautiful bit of acidity just to cut through. So you dress the top of the scampi with that.
This gives it a little zing then.
The zing, yeah, and you're eating, you're going, where's that coming from? And it gives it that beautiful sweetness. If you just finish that with a bit of creme fraiche, James, and give it a blitz for me. So that's a bit of creme fraiche again, just to add a punch of acidity, because it is really rich. Just see if it needs a squeeze of lemon, James. Yeah, go for it.
How are you going to do this?
Stitch up.
Total stitch up, yeah. Right. So this is just a little bit of creme fraiche at the end.
Yeah. We're ready to plate, really.
Yeah, ready when you are. We'll have a little taste. Do you want me to season it as well?
I don't think it'll need seasoning, James. That stock's quite strong. How are we looking? Lemon? Go for it.
Bit of salt, if you don't mind. Is
Yeah, we.
that all right?
So we're hitting the top of this cod with some fresh lime, just to give that beautiful fragrance. Again, some more acidity. Touch more, basting that onto the top. That's proper, that, isn't it? It's good. Oh, James, would you like to put a little bit of salt? Do you want me to
Do you
sauce
want me
it?
to finish it as well?
Yeah,
Right.
come on, we've got this dream
Can we
team,
do
me and
sauce
you.
on here?
Yeah, a bit of sauce, chef.
Do you want the foamy bit as well?
If you want to, yeah.
Okay.
Look at that. And then we're going to hit the top of the scampi again with a bit more lime. Like I said, the key to this little trick of the trade really is that and this would be lovely with tempura as well.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, that fattiness, that lovely dressing
Yeah.
just cuts right through it.
It's lovely with the
Freshen it up.
peppercorns in this, by the way. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
isn't
kind of it's just a little derivative, and us trying to think outside the box a little bit, but still stay true to how we cook food, really.
it? Beautiful, that. Look at that.
And again, just really simple food, just with really beautiful produce. So there we go, guys. You got a baked fillet of dayboat Cornish cod, a lobster pepper sauce, and some lobster scampi.
By a legend in the making, Mr. John Hooker.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. You can pass it over, Chief.
Okay, gents.
Pass it over.
Thank you very much.
Get to dive into this
Beautiful.
then. This looks amazing. Look at that fish. Perfect.
How we looking,
cooked.
yeah?
Look at that fish.
And that salting just helps firm it up.
And just under the grill, you cook that?
yeah, simply, just a little emulsion.
Perfectly cooked that cod,
No,
John.
no pressure cooking for you three.
That is so good.
Thanks,
So
Mark.
good.
That means a lot.
That's
Thank
so
you.
good.
Thank you
That's
very
a
much.
fantastic plate of food.
Yeah, thank you very much.
There we go. John Hooker, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
Brilliant, that. Right, Paul will be cooking for us a little bit later on this morning. The multi-Michelin-starred chef, Mark, will be also sharing one of his trademark recipes in just a bit. But join us again after the break, where we'll be serving up a stunning chicken dish for my guest, Jenny Faulkner. See you in a bit. That is lovely. Welcome back. Now, there's still loads more to come this morning, including recipes from chefs Mark Birchall and Mr. Paul Ainsworth, and they're going to be fantastic. But before all that, I'm delighted to be joined at the house once again by a woman who is at home running marathons as she is on the TV and radio studios. It's the one and only Jenny Faulkner. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me
Welcome.
back.
Did you run here?
No, not today. Might run home.
A little bit too far, probably. But look, I'm going to show you how to do this one. So I know you love the chicken filled with Parma ham and a nice little bit of mozzarella. So I'm going to get this on first of all. But I know you love your running and I know you love your cooking, but I probably don't think you know what goes into making this. Because I love this, and I love this for this reason. Because when you're making these, you need butter.
Yeah. How much? Oh my! You're not putting all of that in.
Nearly.
Oh wow!
Because then what you do is you then take some olive oil as well.
You see, if I was doing this, I'd put like a few teaspoons of olive oil.
Yeah, but
and I'd
it'll
be
burn.
like, la, la, la.
It'll burn. Doesn't it burn?
Well, when I make it, it does burn.
It does burn because there's not enough liquid in
But
it.
I just always assume that's just my terrible cooking skills.
No, it's because you need this. You need liquid in this to be able to cook this properly.
So instantly we're cooking something that's not a healthy dish.
Well,
then.
I didn't choose this. You
I
chose
know.
it.
Well, I thought, oh, that's a lovely healthy dish.
Well,
to
look,
run up
then
with.
I'm going to show you how to make this, but this is what you do. You take the chicken. Now, already you know that this is going to be good because it just sits in there like that, and we just cook this gently like this.
I mean, it's going to be nice, though.
It's going to be really nice. It's going to be really nice. I'm going to show you how to make it. We're going to portion up the chicken bits and pieces. So we take a chicken. Chicken's got 4 pieces of dark meat, 4 pieces of white meat. The chicken, you take the legs off, crack the back of the legs like that, open this out, and you've got a thigh and a leg. And then you cut in between the joint, and you've got the leg and the thigh joint, like that.
Okay.
And you do the same thing with the other side, and then we're going to make our little chicken breast with it as well. So, first of all, congratulations on the radio show, because it's going strength to strength. Last time you were here, just starting it, but it's going strength to strength.
I know,
great.
so it's, 4.5 years I've been doing it now.
I know.
It's crazy. I think because of COVID as well, we were all in a little bubble and you forgot actually how much time passed during that time. And I've been there a while.
But I want to go back to when you were at uni, because it wasn't. The television wasn't the thing you were training to do or anything like that.
No. Well,
languages was your thing, wasn't it?
Languages. I actually wanted to be an architect. That was the dream.
Right.
And there was a bit of a recession going on when I was going to uni, and everyone was like, don't opt for being an architect because you might struggle to get work. So I was like, oh. But it was actually in that gap between school and university when you're 18. I'd just been on a girls' holiday to Tenerife.
Right.
And I came home having lived it up on Playa de las Americas and Las Veronicas for a couple of weeks.
Right.
And I got a call to go and film Blind Date.
Well, I want to talk to you about Blind Date because those people, a certain generation, my generation as well. I mean, talk about big shows. This stopped the UK when it was on, didn't it? That was massive.
It was weird because it was kind of like the X Factor because you had to audition to get on it. And then it was huge viewing. I mean, it's ridiculous, really, because it was a dating show, but it was. Everyone stopped to watch. I mean, there were only a few channels when I was on it, let's be honest. There wasn't much option on a Saturday night. But when you went out on a Saturday, you would discuss the programme, which is why my friends and I all auditioned, because we watched it and we talked about it. So we were like, we can come up with better answers than those
So you
people.
were you the picker or the picky?
Yeah, I was the picker. And I remember when I got called to be on it, they went, you're going to be a picker. And they went, can you send us over 30 questions? And I was like, what? So we had to come up with 30 cheesy blind date questions,
Right.
sent them off, and then they chose a few. And then that was it, went on the show. And it was just so amazing. I loved the whole experience. And I turned around at the end and I said to the producers, I really would like to work in television. And they went, dream on.
Really?
They said so many people come on this show and then say it off the back. And I went, no, I really, really would. And they went, well, it's up to you to make that happen. So I went off and then started doing work experience. And I was at uni in Leeds and I would get up at like 4 a.m. on a weekend to go and do work experience at local radio station.
Because it wasn't. I mean, we fast forward now because Amanda de Holden, she's down the road, down the well, almost the same building as you.
Yeah.
She was on it as well.
She was on it. She was a picky, I suppose. Yeah, she was one of the 3. She was on it too.
Which leads me on to the radio then, because you do feel comfortable doing this as a job. You've done television, you've done a bit of everything. Radio seems to be your thing, though, is it?
I like it. I love it. Well, I love it. I like them both. I feel very lucky that I work in this industry, to be honest, because when I started, everyone said, you'll never get a job, you know, when I was on Blind Dates. Good luck to you. And I did manage to get a job, and I've managed to stay in the industry for 30 years. And I think I just love it so much. And the radio I've done now for just over 10 years. And it's a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
You've done radio.
Well, I admire people on the radio, you know. I listen to yourself and Mr. Evans and stuff like that. I managed to do TV and I sort of winged it for 30 years. But radio is just... To me, I just couldn't...
Do you know what's different in radio?
Couldn't do it.
But the difference in radio, and I got a shocker when I first went in, because when you work in television, especially live television, you've got lovely camera operators, you've got sound, you've got directors, you've got people in your earpiece...
Well, to be honest, they're a good thing, directors, and sometimes they can be a bit of a hindrance.
But you do, there's a team. It's a collaborative thing.
Yeah, sure.
Well, in radio, when I turn up, I've got a brilliant producer, Simon, him and me in the studio, that's it. And we're putting a show out to a huge audience. It's just the 2 of us. And it feels like if anything goes wrong, really you are to blame. Well, in television, I feel if anything goes wrong, there's a million people you can blame.
Mainly Will. Will, the director's usually one that gets the blame. But anyway, but when you're doing that, because radio's changed over the years now, radio used to be a bit like TV. You know, radio's changed, whereas TV's gone... Not in on itself, but there's less people watching each channel, which there were because there's more channels available.
Yeah.
Radio now has gone almost the other way. Now it's global, so the stuff that you're doing now can be beamed all around the world.
Yeah, in fact, when we do the show in the mornings and we have people checking in at 6 o'clock for the early riser register and whatever, we get people from Australia, people from South Africa, there's people in Canada, they're all around the world listening, loads of people going on holiday in Europe and Thailand, and they check in when they're away. So, yeah, the fact is you can listen from wherever you are.
So I get the feeling, which leads us on to what we're going to talk about now, is the running. You like to throw everything at something. If something you want to do something, you throw everything at it. So where does this love of running through? Because you are obsessed with it, are you, really?
Do you know what? I am obsessed because so I tell you what, though, it's not because I excel at it. I'm never going to win a race, and it's not about that. The fact is, it's about the way it makes you feel afterwards. And everyone's got something they enjoy doing, and if you enjoy doing something that much, then you want to do it a little bit more, okay?
Yeah.
So running is brilliant because you can do it wherever you want, you can do it whatever speed you want, you can do it for however long you want to go, you know, however far you want to run. You can run with other people on your own. It's great for having time out. It's quite meditative, and you can think and you can be in your own place. You can challenge yourself. You can just get fitter. There's so many benefits, and it's free.
Well, it leads me on to this because, you know, to do a book on it as well. So this comes off the back of the podcast and your love of doing it. Explain to us, everybody, about this. So how can this help everybody?
OK, well, it's essentially a handbook, a guide to running. So if you have never run before, it tells you how, but it kind of tells you the mistakes that you can make and what the recommendations are, what the kit you need and what's good to run. But if you are already a runner, you'll know which races are good to do. You'll know about the feel-good effect, but this will kind of like, I suppose, confirm all those things to you, and it will help you maybe go a bit further. And it also celebrates the camaraderie of running, the community. I talk about an element in there, talking about the London Marathon, which is one of the highlights of my year. You know, if I'm lucky enough to be running in that marathon, I've run it for charity many, many times. It's the most incredible day because it's the most positive environment. The spectators cheer you on. The runners are all looking out for each other, and it's just a very special thing.
Well, we've got Paul Ainsworth, who's on the show as well.
He's a good runner.
He did it. Wouldn't tell me the time what he did it in, but he did it. But what is amazing is you know, seeing everybody do it. But you've got the pros. You just I've watched it. You cannot believe. You know, I think I was probably maybe 19th mile, 20th mile. When everybody, you know, you look at it and you just want to cheer everybody on to get them going. But you can't believe the pace of these people.
So if you go on a treadmill, OK, some treadmills don't even go to the speed they run the whole marathon at.
Right.
Which is insane, really. So they're running, just over 20 kilometres an hour the whole way.
There you go. And I'm just right on cue. Look, we've just got on here. This is the. I can't believe I'm showing you how this is done now. But it's probably put you off this for life. This, but look, you take and I've only turned this over once, and you take the butter and the oil, and this sits over the top. Now, sometimes you'll go to a restaurant, and this is deep fried.
Yeah. Well, do you know, I did have that recently in a restaurant. I won't tell you where, but it was really dry. Really dry.
Yeah. And this won't be that. It'll be lovely and moist in the centre. The cheese starts to melt, and you just lift that off.
Can I just say that even... Look at the presentation. In my house, it's like splat, splat. There we go.
And then we serve it with a little wedge of lemon. So it has got fruit in it. Technically, it's got 1 of your 5 a day. It's got 2 of your 5 a day. So we're halfway there. But there we have it. My sort of chicken stuffed with mozzarella, Parma ham, with a nice little bit of Italian fried courgettes. Done.
It's amazing.
Right, Jenny, I would just take a little bit of this before I serve you. Just a little bit on
because there's not enough butter already.
Just a little bit on there, and then you get to taste this with the courgettes and everything else. But
oh, my goodness.
Squeeze the lemon on it and everything else.
OK.
But tell me what you think of that.
I'm going to cut into it here. Oh, I mean, look at that.
It'll be moist. The most important thing is it's the moisture of it, and it's not dry. A lot of time you have these, they're dry.
I mean, that looks amazing.
Thank you and good night.
It's so good.
It's a good starter. It's a good starter. There'll be more from Jenny later on this morning. I'll be serving up pizza for motorsport superstar John McGuinness very shortly. But join us again after the break for more incredible cooking from the very talented Mark Birchall. See you in a bit.
Can I just keep eating this?
You can completely eat it, yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Now, motorcycle racing legend John McGuinness will be here at the house, and there's a barbecue masterclass coming your way a little bit later. But first, I'm here with 2 old mates of mine, John and Paul. We're about to taste a dish for another old friend of ours, a Lancashire restaurant. That's his only problem. He's the wrong side of the Pennines. Was voted the best in the country at last year's National Restaurant Awards. It's Mr. Mark Birchall. What are we going to be cooking then? Because this looks spectacular. It doesn't look easy, but it looks spectacular.
No, we've got a few bits.
Yeah, a few bits.
Few courgettes from our garden
right
there. So we're going to roast some courgettes. We're going to make courgette puree.
Okay.
We're going to serve that with fermented green tomato gel.
Yeah.
Got some wild Cornish sea bass.
Yeah.
And we're going to grill that over the coals.
Sounds pretty good.
Red hot coals.
First thing you do is going to do the puree, is it first? So off you go. So I'll let you crack on with that.
Yeah, so we're going to get the puree on, but first...
Get that pan on, yeah.
We're going to prepare the sea bass. What we'll do, we'll just take a nice portion of this fish.
I thought I was going to say this portion. I was just
that's for you.
It's like... right.
No, we'll do a nice big piece. We'll grill this over the barbecue later.
A bit further that way. Right, and then you want me to grill this then, so you're going to skewer it up.
So you get your skewers, your oil skewers, just so they come out easily.
Yeah. Now, about your restaurant, because you've got your Moor Hall, it's kind of like you've got the garden, you've got the brasserie bit, you call it brasserie, barn?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to define restaurants by fine dining, brasserie, all that lot. It's just... One's got an a la carte menu, one's got a fixed menu.
Yeah.
One has 2 stars, one has 1.
You've actually got 4, technically. You've got a green one as well.
Yeah, I mean, the green star is for sustainability.
Yeah, but it's still one, isn't it? Yeah.
Not cooking.
Absolutely. Take that, yeah.
So
take that. Right.
We'll put that fish on there.
Yeah. So that's that one done.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yeah. I'll get rid of that over to one side.
We're going to move on to the courgette puree. So a little bit of butter.
Yeah.
In there. And we're just going to sweat these courgettes. What we've done, we just sliced them up, taking
Yeah.
the centres out because they're full of moisture.
Okay.
We'll sweat that off. Get a little spoon.
Yep. There's the sink to wash your hands in there. So
Oh, marvellous.
there you
That's all right, though. We're going to cook we're cooking it, aren't we?
go. Right. That's there. So the courgettes, and then at the same time we're going to do the sauce, the
Yeah.
stock to go with it.
So we've got a red mullet and fish stock. And
Yeah.
we're just going to infuse that, basically.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of butter in there. We've got some fennel.
Yeah.
So we're just refreshing the stock. So it's almost like your classic shellfish
Yeah.
sort of stock.
What about this?
Yeah, a little coriander seed.
Yeah.
Do one anise, star anise.
One of them.
Just the one, very strong that.
Chili.
No, chilli at the end. So what we're going to do, we're going to toast that off. Tell you what, it's like driving one of those
Well, it's a
different
bit
cars,
fierce.
isn't
It's a
it?
bit fierce, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got some brandy in there.
Yeah.
So just take that down.
Yeah.
A little bit of tomato juice
Right.
in there as well. Then the mullet.
Look at these two. Yeah, this
It's
is the
lovely.
quietest you've been all day. What's happened to you?
It's like peace, isn't it? Little red mullet.
Tranquil, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a tranquil dish.
Langoustine stock.
So that's langoustine stock in there.
Yeah, a little bit of langoustine. Basically, it's like a langoustine stock with red mullet bones in there. So
Yeah,
it's almost
okay.
like that bouillabaisse sort of
Yeah.
Yeah.
classic stock. And I put some ham in there. It's almost inspired by a Spanish, fish stew.
Right. Okay. All right.
So we keep sweating these courgettes down. Try and do it like fairly quickly.
Well, I'll take over that because I know you want to get the fish cooking as well. So
Yeah.
I'll take over that one.
So if you pop it in that colander there and just squeeze some of the liquid out before
Right,
you blend
that's
it, because they're quite watery.
Right. This all just gets squeezed out and then blended.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And tell me about this cooking this fish then, because this you're going to cook slightly differently. You're going to cook it half on the barbecue and half in butter.
Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll grill it, then we'll let it rest up in some brown butter.
Right. This goes in here.
Do you cook all your fish like this, Mark? Or do
No
you...
way.
No? No?
I need about 100 chefs. It's pretty much aluminate.
Is it? Yeah.
But it depends. Horses, courses, isn't it? I mean, wild sea bass is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just warming up the butter up here, just a little bit for this fish.
Yeah. Just
And then courgettes. Do you want these just frying off with a little bit of butter, or?
Yeah, just a touch of oil, tiny bit of oil, and just colour. You shouldn't take a lot of cooking, really, because they're fresh. They're beautifully fresh.
Right.
Nice colour, even size. Everyone, yeah.
Every single one coloured.
You see how quickly that sea bass is going.
Are you sure?
Everyone. Yeah.
You've changed since I first saw you. Right. And what is this that you've got in here? What is that?
So that is a little dressing for the fish. That is
Right.
some lime juice, lime zest, tomato water, olive oil, and a reduction of tomato water also,
Right.
just to give it that nice little zinginess.
Right. So they're done for you. Finished. And then you happy with those?
A little bit more colour, please.
It's the difference between Eurostar and Michelin star, isn't it? This is
Michelin star.
this is the difference, isn't it?
I'll use that one.
Quote of the day.
Yeah, it is. But just saying.
Yeah,
Tell me
yeah.
when you're ready.
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine.
In there. I think they're quite good, to be honest with you. I'm quite pleased myself, to be honest. That's that one. And then the butter, you just want this warming up. We've got a tray over here.
It should be warm enough now. If you just pop, maybe half fill that tray.
Half fill this.
Yeah.
And this is not brown butter you've got in here.
Yeah, so burn was that. Just classic, nothing in it, just butter.
Right, that's that. Right, the butter's ready for you.
Okay, yeah. So we'll rest it over this brown butter.
So it just sits in there to just finish off the
Yeah,
cooking.
just to slow it down a little bit, and we'll just let it sit in there nicely. You can see
Smells
how
good, doesn't it?
see how crispy
The skin's good.
Yeah.
how crispy that is. Just gonna lift that out of the butter.
Yeah.
Fish should be just cooked.
This will do for my bacon sandwiches for later.
Nice and crispy on top.
Not wasting that.
Stunning piece of fish, Mark.
It's,
Beautiful.
it's a good old bit of fish.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit of raw courgette just for the plate. I'll just put them on there.
It's the work that goes in it, though, don't you think?
Attention to detail, isn't it?
And how many chefs you've got in the kitchen now?
We usually operate on 16
Right.
for a service. But we've got the main kitchen. We do a little service in the bar area as well. So you
Right.
have like 2 chefs out the front.
Yeah.
The guests will come through the garden in the summer. Like, it's kind of, we're a small restaurant, but on a big site.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
It's all about getting that experience right, Mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what you're driving.
Yeah, it's creating that experience. We've got some of these lovely grilled courgettes.
Expertly done courgettes, might I add.
Expertly done, yeah.
Eh?
Smashed it.
Get them to just sit up nicely on the
I
plate.
feel like I've done my part, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've earned your wages today.
Completed it.
Completed it, that's the case.
Yeah, I'll just go home, shall I?
Right.
So we've got a little bit of...
So this is the courgette puree?
Yeah, so we've got some courgette puree in there.
Yeah.
A couple of nice dollops of that. You don't have to use a squeezer bottle, you can just spoon it on if you like. But
I can see people attempting this at home, though, can't you?
Did you say you lightly smoked that as well, Mark?
yeah,
Did you
so
say?
lightly smoke it just to give it that nice round meaty flavour.
Yeah.
And the fish, I'm just gonna I'm gonna flip that over. I'm just gonna give it a nice little carve. I can already hear it crunching
Yeah,
away.
listen to
You
that.
can hear the crunch in the skin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Beautifully cooked.
Get a kick on that.
It's,
Stunning.
got those little bits there.
It is perfectly cooked, look at that. Beautiful.
I'm just gonna lift that onto the plate. See what, the boys at work do a better job than this. A little bit of oyster leaf from the garden also. Just to keep it nice and fresh. Got some dashi
Right.
just on there.
And then the sauce to go with it.
Exactly, yeah. And just a little bit of sauce last second.
So
So you'd usually do this like table side.
yeah. So while you finish that off, give us the name of this dish.
So it's wild Cornish sea bass with courgettes and fermented green.
Expertly done courgettes, I might add.
They're not bad.
Not bad, they're not bad. You stick
Not
to your
bad
day
for a
job.
lad.
Stick to your day job. Mark Birchall, everybody. Bon appetit, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you very much.
There you have it. I've just got a bowl of courgettes by the looks of things over here.
Yeah, the nice courgettes.
They are nice courgettes, though, aren't
Skin's mega. That's beautiful, mate.
they? Two happy chaps over there, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Two happy chaps over there.
Flavour Town, isn't it?
Flavour Town.
Yeah.
There we go.
Take
There you go.
down
Matt
Flavour
Birchall,
Town.
everybody.
And Mark.
Right, Paul will be trying to top trump that dish, and John and Mark's recipe a little bit later on. I'll be teaching you everything you want to know about barbecuing meat in this week's Little Masterclass. But join us again after the break when we got pizza on the menu for my brilliant guest, Mr. John McGuinness. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now I'll be giving you a crash course in barbecuing meat in this week's Little Masterclass. And this gentleman over here will begin as a lesson in how to make
Prawn and crab dumplings.
with a nice little soup to
Yeah,
go with it as
beautiful
well.
asparagus
by
soup.
Mr. Paul Ainsworth. But first, we're both here because we're both big, giant motorcycling fans. And we're about to meet one of them who's racked up more than 20, it's actually 23 victories, I believe, around the world-famous Isle of Man TT course. It's the legend in my house. It's Mr. John McGuinness. We're doing this as fellow bikers.
Yes.
You're doing this, aren't you?
Give over.
God's just walked into the room. So anyway, we're going to make a little bit of pizza for you. So we're going to do a nice little pizza dough. We've got some flour, we've got semolina, we've got water, we've got oil. The whole lot just gets put into here with a good pinch of salt. So in we go with the flour, in we go with the olive oil. Semolina flour goes in as well. That's going to go in.
Semolina?
Semolina goes into a pizza.
You had that at school when you were a kid, mate.
Yeah,
but
this is
stuff.
Sorry, mate. It goes in pizzas. You've been eating it, but you don't know about it. Put the yeast in as well.
Yeah.
That goes in there. There's a little knife there. And then we throw in the water. That's all going to go in. Good pinch of salt. And we're going to mix that all together. And then this creates our amazing pizza dough. If we leave it, once we've mixed it, if we leave it in the fridge overnight, you end up with this amazing sort of pizza dough as well. But we've got to talk about you as well as the pizzas. But, John, for anybody out there that doesn't know about the TT, it's legendary, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it started in 1907. It's been going on such a long time. It's an amazing circuit. It's probably the longest circuit in the world, probably the hardest, toughest, probably the most dangerous, 38 miles long, 260 corners. The average speeds is... I mean, the lap record now is 136 miles an hour average, so...
Well, you broke the 130 mile an hour barrier, didn't you, really?
I did, yeah. 2007, I broke the 130 mile an hour lap. First man to do 131.
But I want to go back. I've known you a long time. I want to go back to when you were a kid, because wasn't it that your dad was a biker as well? That's why you fell in love with it.
Absolutely, my dad he raced a little bit. He did some road racing, some scrambling, it was called at the time, some grass track racing. We had a motorcycle shop in Morecambe where we grew up, and I did a little bit of scrambling at the time. And then he took me to the Isle of Man when I was 10 years old to the TT, and that was the moment. I thought, I watched those riders come down that hill, and I thought, wow, these guys are amazing, and I always wanted to do it. But I don't know, I had an AP50 Suzuki, a little small 50cc moped when I was 16. Used to go to school on it, dreaming of being a professional motorbike racer. So, yeah, it's been... But
you were a bricklayer as well while you were doing that, and while you were wanting to do that, you had this dream about doing the TT to raise money for racing. You were a bricklayer.
Exactly, yeah. I went to college, did 3 years City and Guilds. My dad said to me, you need to get a trade under your belt, he says, So I thought I'll be a brickie, because I worked with 3 of the guys in the building trade, a plasterer, a joiner and a brickie, and I thought the brickie was the most fun guy to work with, so I thought that's not a bad trade to be in.
And you've still got a building sponsor now, haven't you, really? Have you still moved those bricks from the last time you were at your house? You've still got about 9,000, 10,000 bricks at the back of your house.
Well, one of my sponsors owed me a few quid, and I thought, he said, I can have a pay you, I'll give you 8,000 bricks. So I took the bricks, so we're building a wall around the house with these bricks at the moment. But it was an honest trade. I loved it, playing bricks. It was... But I always had that, love for the bikes. It was always difficult for me when I sort of went to work, and the guys were always into other things, and I was sat there dreaming of being a bricklayer.
But this is the TT is there's nothing else like it, but particularly road racing. It's a very unique thing. It's a very family-oriented thing. A lot of history with the families that have done it as well. But also, not just that, it's the actual assembly of the bike as well. I've been to your place, and you guys are actually, your son's working on the bike, you're working on the bike.
Yeah, it is a thing. It's like a bit of a passionate thing. It's something that you want to do. It's really, really hard because you need people around you that you really, really trust, because the race is so tough, it's so hard, it's so long, and it's a lot of responsibility for people as well, especially the guys.
So you're doing... The main race is the senior one. That's 6 laps?
6 laps, 227 miles.
How many corners?
Well, 260 corners times 6, so whatever that is. But 2 pit stops, 2 rear wheel changes, 2 visor changes. Every time we put 24 litres of fuel in it. So we're only stopped for about 45 seconds while we put the fuel in, so and then it's all down to me. It's an hour and 45-minute race, quite physical, quite tough,
And this is what I love about you, because I watch you. You actually push your bike onto the grid. This is the thing about this is why F1 drivers, when they speak to you, honestly it's like the Holy Grail has just walked into a room. They just stop and everybody just. Because it's a very unique thing, and we're just going to show you this, because those people who haven't seen the TT, John will explain what's going to be happening, because if you blink and you miss it, this is unreal. We haven't sped this up. This is genuinely him on a bike round the TT course. Just watch and listen to this.
Yeah, that's through the bottom of Aggo's Leap, over Bray Hill. That's 180 miles an hour jump over there, down in towards Quarter Bridge. This is not far off the start line, actually. First gear corner now. Get the bike up right, accelerate away. First gear, second gear. on towards a place called Snugbury now. So there's a little low wall on the inside, 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear. Now we're approaching Ballascary. It's called Ballagary, but we call it Ballascary because it's such a scary corner. It's a 5th gear corner, really, really committed. Into 6th gear now, into 6th. There's the 6th gear. So 180, 190 miles an hour approach towards Crosby, through the village of Crosby. A little roll of the throttle to help the bike turn in through the low wall on the inside there. Now we're coming up to a pub called the Crosby Pub. We're just about to pass the Crosby Pub.
I mean, that was even better. I mean, you could...
I was in the moment.
You were in the moment. You were on the bike doing it as well and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that was 2015. I won the senior that day, and you know that probably was my finest hour. I'm a bit of an older sort of a rider as well, and it was a really, really proud moment. That was probably, you know, I never ever thought I'd going to be able to win another race like that, and to win my 7th senior TT that day was super, super special. And
because if you don't mind me saying, you're at the tender age. We're catching you up by a few months, but we're both 52.
Yeah.
To be able to still racing, you're racing in a couple of weeks, still at the TT. You still love it as much as you did when you were a young lad.
Absolutely, yeah, I love it. I've always kept in that. It's a little bit of muscle memory thing. I call it staying in the hamster wheel. I've always kept riding, kept training, kept motivated, and it is a really special place to race.
But most people in sports, John, don't last 34 years. You've done 34 years in the business as well.
I know, and I have to pinch myself that it's really, really happening. When I was a young kid, and I've had some amazing teammates, like Joy Dunlop, the most successful TT rider of all time. He was my teammate a lot of years ago, and he was 48 years old. I looked at him, and he was an old codger, and I'm 52 and still at it. You can still do it if you want to do it.
Yeah.
I know, I've still got the passion for it. I've still got the hunger for it, and I still love putting the helmet on and riding those amazing superbikes around the most, you know, demanding, difficult, hardest physical.
Well, I love you coming round to the house as well, and it's been. I think, look, this is the quietest you've been, to be honest with you.
Honestly, when he was talking through that, honestly, that's a career moment for me there.
It is, isn't it?
Like,
really?
the king of the mountain talking through.
And in testament to that, we've got this.
Yeah,
we've got a pizza cutter.
That's a scooter.
Well, it didn't have a fire blade in there as well. But look, we're just going to take that, and you just get a nice little bit of the pizza, but. Before you dive in, we'll let that cool down a little bit. But there we have it. Our nice little homemade margarita with a little bit of Parma ham top of the top. He said to me, have you got a bit of doner kebab meat to put on it as well, and barbecue sauce? I didn't have that, but I did have ham and pineapple ready.
We got some ham.
But
no pineapple. You don't put pineapple on a pizza.
I know you don't, but I've got a nice little bit of classic margarita pizza. There you have it. John McGuinness, everybody. Go on, I'll let you chop that one up as well.
Be my pleasure.
There you go. You like the deep pan version, do you?
That looks a bit better to me.
Right.
But that is a better size for me.
Right.
To be honest.
I think that is my one.
I think that's your one. All right.
I do like a thicker crust.
There you go. All right. Well, have a try of that one.
John.
And don't forget, while John's eating that all the coverage of the TT is on ITV4 in a couple of weeks. And seriously, watch it because it is just unbelievable to watch these.
You just threw the basil off. Get rid of that grass.
Get rid of the grass.
No, we don't want the grass.
Happy with that?
That is, yeah, beautiful.
Oh, that's heaven, mate. Absolutely.
Is that all right? Happy?
That is joyous.
Is that a happy place?
Can I be a lodger?
You're here quite a lot anyway, so it's fine. There we have it. John McGuinness, everybody. Right, I'll be treating Johnny Faulkner and John McGuinness and all my chefs in the studio to a classic roulade at the end of the show. And we'll be enjoying a very special dish from Mr. Paul Ainsworth very shortly. But I'll see you after the break for a masterclass in barbecuing meat that you don't want to miss. I'll see you in a bit. Back. back. Now I'll be tucking into dumplings, courtesy of Chef Paul Ainsworth next. And I'll be treating my guests John McGuinness and Jenny Faulkner to a roulade at the end of the show. But first, it's time for this week's masterclass. And with summer just around the corner and with everybody heading down to the shed to dust off their barbecues, I thought I'd give you a couple of lessons in barbecuing. Last week I showed you how to cook fish properly on the barbecue. This time we're going to do meat and actually one vegetable on the barbecue as well. But first of all, what you need to do to prepare your barbecue. Now, it doesn't matter whether you've got a long one like this or a small round one, it makes no difference. But if you are cooking on natural charcoal like this, the best way to do this is to prepare this before you even start and have a hot zone and a cool zone. So what I do is use one of these and I'll just move the charcoal at one end or to one side. So if you've got a round barbecue, just light your charcoal on one side and just draw the charcoal from one side to the other. So don't just light the entire lot. Otherwise, you just have a flaming cauldron, blokes. Don't mean to alienate a lot of us, but that's the common mistake. You just burn everything because everything's on fire. So what you want to do is a cool zone and a hot zone, which then we're going to turn our attention to our selection of meat. I've got some beef over here. I've got some lamb chops. I've got some lovely chicken. I'm going to show you different ways to cook that. But let's talk about the beef and the lamb chops first of all. So I've got some sirloin and I've got some lamb chops over here. Now, I'm not going to put any salt onto this whatsoever. I'm going to season it kind of afterwards because I think really if you season this, but a lot of people like sea salt nowadays, it's just going to fall off. Black pepper will just burn on the barbecue as well. So there's a great little tip that the late, great Michel Roux taught me. I remember doing this in France, and he was cooking some quail on a barbecue, and he would then make this lovely little oil mixture, but season it afterwards. But I combine that with a wonderful little tip that the great Wolfgang Puck, the master at cooking steak, taught me as well. So wash my hands like that. Keep your eye on the steak. While that's happening, we're going to do these two things. First of all, I'm going to make the salt for this. We're going to take some salt. This is just table salt. This is the seasoning. And then I'm going to take... This is why it's important, like I said, to have your cool zone and your hot zone. See that now it's flaming up? You don't need to add any oil to encourage that as well. So keep your eye on it. And you can see we've got this cool zone here. So you can then bring these forward if you want colour. And then you can bring your steak back. So you then turn in this. Again, look, it's like turning the stove on and off. You've got this cool area and you've got this hot area. So we can continue to cook these over here like that. Now, steak, you're looking at no more than about probably 4 or 5 minutes on a barbecue, nice hot barbecue like that. Move it around our barbecue, you see. This is this cool area. This is this hot area. Hot area is really good when it comes to sort of chicken wings, which we're going to do in a second. So we'll bring that over to here. And we'll sort of cool these down. This one. We'll allow the flames to calm down a little bit. Like that. There we go. Another one over here. Like that. We'll just turn the steak over. Perfect, look at that. Again, see what's going to happen if we just put this with a little bit of the sea salt on it. It's just going to fall off and it's just going to burn. So just let the flames die down and then put it back on. So the steak, this is now ready, to be honest with you. We can then bring this across. I'll put that directly onto there. Your steak is now done. Like that. And then what the great Wolfgang Puck taught me is this amazing little rub, which is going to go with anything like this, any meats, particularly lamb, because this lamb isn't far off as well, is we take a little stock cube, a little beef stock cube, and if you rub that together with the salt, this makes this amazing umami salt that's going to go brilliantly with the meats. So this lamb is now cooked. We can then take these off. You've got this amazing flavour from it as well. Now, a lot of people worry about, there we go, the seasoning on stuff like this. This is the great thing about doing this mixture over here, this combination of salt and this stock cube. It's a great, great little tip, this. It really, really is. and one that I've used ever since I've seen Wolfgang Puck do it. It's basically a stock cube mixed together with table salt, and you utilise this just to sprinkle over the meat once it's cooked. And then you can put your black pepper on it. And then if you wanted to, you can then do a combination of oil and a few little bits of herbs, something like a little bit of fresh thyme, like that, a little bit of rosemary, a touch of that. And then you just take your spoon, and you can either use this to season the meat while you're grilling it, or you just use this to sprinkle over the top. That's it, really. It's, you know, the whole point about barbecuing is the flavour from the barbecue without the burnt offering. And so many times people will just do it and continue to cook it till everything's burnt, and particularly chicken, because people are worried about whether it's going to be cooked. Now, I've got some that's just cooking away nicely over here. I'm going to show you how to do that. But chicken wings are amazing on the barbecue, because I'm going to do that with sriracha and a little barbecue sauce. But these are amazing on the barbecue. But what I've done with these chicken wings is I've just simply poached them. So cold water, and you just bring it to the boil and almost cook this for about 5 minutes and then turn it off, allow it to cool down, and these chicken wings are cooked and cold. And these are brilliant. You just put them on the barbecue as it is. So no need to put anything with it, because I'm going to serve this with a nice little sriracha butter with it as well. But you put your chicken wings direct onto here, and they'll colour. Once they're coloured, they'll warm up. And because they're already cooked, you don't need to worry about them. So they're just going to sit on there, like that, on the hot end. Meanwhile, over here, we're going to do two sauces, one with a steak and one with a chicken. But the steak one really is a nice little barbecue sauce. This is ace. So you take some ketchup, just normal ketchup, some brown sugar. So there's your sugar. And we're going to combine that with a few different other things. Usually it's a little bit of vinegar or soy. I've got a touch of Worcester sauce in here. Then we put in some well-known cherry soft drink. That goes in as well. Should really have a beer with this, shouldn't I, really? A touch of smoked paprika to give it that smoky sort of flavour. Some chilli and some garlic. And that's kind of it. That's our simple little barbecue sauce. And it's one that's absolutely delicious with the steak, with the lamb, with the chicken. Like I say, with the chicken, you're just going to take your chicken out and just turn this over. You can see it's coloured. You haven't got to worry about it cooking, because it's already cooked. You're just creating a nice little flavour on the barbecue. Again, try not to add any oil onto it as well, because it's going to colour nicely and not burn, which is exactly what we want, and they're going to heat through. You can do other bits of chicken on the barbecue as well. I've got some chicken over here that I put in brine. A lot of chefs will brine it on the barbecue. It's really simple. Bring it to the boil, turn it off, add things like bay leaves. We've got garlic over here, some onion, and cook it exactly the same way. So on here, no oil, just put it on there, and then don't be frightened to use the oven as well. So once you get a nice colour on it, you can then just pop it in the oven just to finish it. So rather than continue to worry about it cooking all the way through on the barbecue, utilise the oven in the house. So you get a nice bit of colour out on the barbecue, and then come back and pop it direct onto here. I'm going to move the pork out of the way. Show you that. We'll get that out of the way, because you cook that slightly differently, but I'll show you. I'll tell you how to do that in a second. But you've got this chicken wings, and you've got these chicken pieces over here. So these have just been coloured on the barbecue and just finished off in the oven. Not your classical, stereotypical burnt offerings. You've got a lovely colour from the barbecue, like that, and they're cooked. But look at these chicken wings. They're ace. Really, really nice. And these, like I said, have just been poached and on here for no more than about 4 or 5 minutes. They taste amazing. We're going to serve this with a little sriracha butter, which I'm going to show you in a second. But so you've got the pile of chicken wings. It's like a medieval feast, isn't it? Really, yeah. But look, they go on here as well, like that. And I can tell they're cooked as well, as in heated all the way through. They're amazing. These. And another one. And another one. Just tuck that one in there. This barbecue sauce, all you do with this is just give it a quick whisk. And this barbecue sauce is finished. We can then serve this in a little bowl with your steak, which is amazing. But you've got your simple little barbecue sauce like that. One that's brilliantly with meats and bits and bobs like this. It's absolutely delicious. So this one, to go with our chicken, and actually we're going to cook our veg on here as well. It's a little sriracha butter, and I'm going to do some vegetables on here. Particularly this. This is a hispy cabbage. Cabbage on a barbecue, you think, you're going crazy. But when you cut this into sort of 6 pieces, all I've done with this is just keep it whole, keep the root on, cook it in a pan of boiling water, and cook this for about 20 minutes. Turn it off, and you end up with this hispy cabbage. Keep the root on here, because it holds it together. Cut through the root, like that. And you just want to cut this into sort of 3 pieces. Here and here, cutting through that root. There we go. And we take the entire lot and just pop it on the barbecue. Because hispy cabbage on a barbecue tastes unbelievable with this next thing that I'm going to put with it. So you just put the cabbage direct onto here. Now, another little simple sauce to go with our chicken is a little bit of sriracha butter. So this can be just poured over the top, where you just take some butter, just a little bit, all of it. Then we take some honey, good dollop of honey, like that. Garlic, salt, onion, salt is wonderful. That goes in there. And then some sriracha, this amazing spicy chili paste. You put about half of that, half butter, something like that. There we go. And a touch of chili. That's going to go in. Now, the hispy cabbage, you just leave, ready, because then what you can do is you can then take this amazing little butter to go to the hispy cabbage. I've just got some butter melting on here, and then we take some of this well-known yeast extract, because this, with cabbage, tastes unbelievable. It really, really does. And if you take a good little dollop of that and mix it together with the butter, and we're just going to brush the cabbage while it sort of char grills and goes with this, it tastes unbelievable. So this little sriracha butter is now done. Whisk this all up like that, just melt the butter nicely. But this gives chicken this amazing sort of sticky wing sort of scenario which we want. So just melt the butter a little bit, like that. And then we pour this over the top. So this is sriracha butter sauce over the top of your barbecued chicken pieces, like that. Tastes unbelievable, this. If you want to put a little bit of lime zest over the top, that's also a nice little finishing touch to go over this chicken. But that tastes unbelievable. And our final one is our hispy cabbage. And like I said, you just want to get a nice little bit of char on this. So when you're doing this, and you've got it nicely coloured like that, when you turn it over, that's when you take this amazing butter and it does its thing. Don't worry about it breaking up. It's fine, because you just... Yeah, you see the lovely cabbage is char grilling like this. And then you take this butter and you use a brush, and you brush this over the top of the cabbage. This will give it an amazing smoky sort of taste, but this tastes absolutely delicious over the top of here. But this tastes incredible as well. And you take this amazing cabbage, lift it off, and you can serve that with everything else. But it's also not just meat that's amazing on barbecues, it's vegetables, like I said, even fruit. If you take bananas and just put it direct on the barbecue, just in their skins, they also taste amazing with just ice cream and a bit of maple syrup. But there we have it. So your barbecue cabbage, we'll drizzle a little bit more over the top of this amazing butter. Your nice little steak with your seasoned salt, with that lovely little stock cube. Your soft drink barbecue sauce and your sriracha chicken wings. And not a burnt offering in sight. Easy as that. I just need a beer. Done. Now, if there's anything you'd like to learn about Little Masterclass, then do get in touch with me, see if we can help out right here on the show. Time now for a quick break, but join us again in a couple of minutes, where Chef Paul Ainsworth will be taking over the kitchen duties. See you after the break. Welcome back. Now, I'm hoping to impress my guests, Jenny Faulkner and John McGuinness, with a classic roulade very shortly. But first, I'm here with John, and we're about to taste a dish from a chef who's finally publishing his first ever cookbook. So now we're able to nick his recipes in the same way he's been nicking mine for years. It's the brilliant Paul Ainsworth! You like that one, do you?
I love it. I love it.
Please tell me you've got this amazing monkey bread in there.
Yeah.
Where did you get that from?
No, it didn't make the cut.
So what did make the cut? What are you going to be making?
So we are going to be...
Why are you looking down there? Why don't you... We're changing the subject straight away.
Stove on.
I'll get it on for you. There, it's done. What are we making?
Right, we're going to do a beautiful soup. So we're going to use some lovely asparagus, wild garlic, which is just coming to the end. We've got some lovely peas. And then you're going to fry off for me the prawn and crab dumplings, but I'm going to show you how to make those as well. And that's it. Prawn and crab dumplings and a lovely soup. Thank you very much.
So the soup, first of all.
The soup, first of all. So is that on?
It is
on.
Thank
you very much. Anyway, how have you been? You well?
I'm very good.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
You're
surrounded
looking well.
by double trouble, though.
Southwest Massive.
You two...
Southwest Mafia.
I feel like it is, really, because you two are best of mates, aren't you two?
Well, we've known each other a very, very long time, and a massive, massive respect for this man. I think he's.
But also, I mean, you've turned your business into sort of a conglomerate, haven't you? You've got down there.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you think, 20 years.
Is it 20
20
years
years coming up. 20 years since I moved there, and then 15 since. Me and Emma took it over, and
because you were brought up just down the road in
Southampton. So went past Southampton about another 300 miles to Cornwall. But it's amazing, and it's
right. So this is the soup bit. So you got butter in here.
So we go butter in there, and again, really just those lovely flavours that work really well. And onions, always a great base for the soup.
Yeah.
So we just cook those nice and gently without colour.
But tell us about the book then, because it's been a long time in the making.
Yeah, it has, and it's been. I suppose there's always been lots of opportunities to do one, and the honest reason has been I felt that it would have been more of a sort of box ticking exercise for me, as like chef does a book, and I wanted to actually, I suppose, have something, really awesome to kind of not only talk about, but, the recipes. And since then, Cafe Reggiano's, the Mariners, which the book is full of recipes from those restaurants, plus stuff I had as a kid, things I cooked it, I remember eating at home. So it's more of that than it is. There's nothing number 6 in there. Okay. So it's a book for all levels,
that's
all people to...
That's monkey bread.
to cook.
Saves the lawsuit, that.
Sorry, we've got to...
You can get a transfer of your head on it.
Can I just say, where is the book anyway? Where is it? Where is it? Is it produced in limited numbers? Where is it? Because I usually have it to show people. What?
No, it's not ready yet.
It's not ready yet?
Yeah. We're not ready yet.
What's the book called? What's it called?
For the Love of Food.
Right, okay.
Yeah, For the Love of Food.
When is it ready?
I think it's going to be probably about another couple of months, and then launch date is the 4th of July.
All right.
So,
away,
he'll be getting a copy in the post, chef, all right?
That's all right. I'll get it from the pound shop.
Anyway,
I'll get it from the pound shop in a month.
Yeah. Right next to about 6 of his.
Careful not to burn anything. Go on.
Yeah. So
I could leave you to it. Why don't I just leave you to it and watch your supper? This would be brilliant doing this.
Sit there and John come join me.
This is going to be brilliant. This. Go on then, Paul.
So now we add in some chicken stock. All right. So we get some in with our onions. Now again, asparagus. Right in season. We're really lucky just across from us, in Padstow, and right next to us in Rock with the Mariners, we've got this beautiful produce here, which is a St Endoc asparagus.
Yeah.
So use all of it. We take off the woody bit at the end, chop up most of the stem, and that goes into your soup. So get your chicken stock in and then add in your asparagus. And this is such a simple recipe.
This is all the asparagus you've just chopped up?
Yeah.
Do you want me to cook these in a little bit of
Yeah,
oil?
would you? So some oil in there, James, and I'm going to come on to
Extra
the
virgin
dumplings
olive oil or
next.
just normal
Just
veg oil?
normal oil, yeah. Veg oil, normal oil's absolutely fine. So then, James, so asparagus is in. We go in with our frozen peas. We've got frozen peas for the soup and nice fresh peas for the garnish. And then we're just going to put the spinach in there as well.
So I've got to say congratulations because since the last time you were on, new child in your life.
Yes.
Deserves a round of applause, doesn't it?
So, 8 weeks ago yesterday, Emma gave birth to our second daughter. So, her name's Audrey Bloom. She's an absolute, no words. You know what I'm talking about. Absolutely incredible. So, it's been a really special time. And Cece, who's 8, so there's quite a gap between them both. She's just the most amazing big sister. Lovely. Thank you. The most amazing big sister. So, it's been a really special, really special time.
Right, look at this. Look at this. So you're just basically just getting a bit of colour on here.
I mean, look at that already is just amazing.
Yeah.
So everything in there is just... And the point is, don't boil it. It's a bit like over stewing a tea bag. You don't want to overcook this. You just want to... About a minute or so more, you'll know when... With the asparagus, so just a little taste of the asparagus. Yeah. About 30 seconds more, and that's lovely. You can go on there, James, if you want.
There you go, all right. So
Now I'm going to show you how to make this.
You're going to make these. So what you do is this. Once you get to this stage, just blend it.
Straight in there.
Stick it in the
Absolutely.
blender. Right, I'll stick this in here.
Okay. Now for the dumplings. We've got some prawns and some about sort of a teaspoon, just over, of pickled ginger. Now you just blitz that, and this acts as a great binding agent. Now the prawns aren't that expensive; they're just like frozen tiger prawns. So
you want some asparagus pears in here as well, cooked with a little emulsion?
We'll just get a bit more colour on those, James, and then we'll come to finishing it all.
Okay.
So
this, you would put the lid on. Just be careful with this. If it's still hot, take this out and then just put a cloth on it. But I'm not doing that, otherwise I'll be on... It'll be all right on the night.
Been there, done that, James.
I've done that. Thanks for reminding me on that one, James. Thank you.
So I've got blitz prawn. Same prawns. We've got some diced. So we've got lovely texture, which is exactly like what we've got there. Some nice crab in there. And again, just all flavours that work so beautifully with that soup. It's just, amazing. Some fish sauce, just to give it a nice umami, a nice seasoning. I've got a nice pinch of seaweed. Now I'm going to save some, because we're going to use that there. That's brilliant. Have some butter in there, please,
Well, you've
James.
used it all, haven't you?
Thank you.
There you go. So what have you got in this crab, then?
Butter in there, thank you, James.
Yeah.
So we've got the blitzed prawn, some pickled ginger, some fresh white crab, some diced prawn. I've added a little bit of fish sauce in there. That gives it like a lovely savoury umami flavour to it. It's really, really nice. Some chopped spring onions. So just proper fresh. All things that just work lovely with that. And now, just for that lovely kind of aniseed flavour that works beautiful with the prawns, we're just going to add some chopped chervil. So, James, that's perfect. Lovely. Can I just have a touch more butter in there, please, mate? Just to kind of glaze everything.
It's fine for me. It's
Yeah?
fine for me.
All right. Yeah, so I've just asked James Martin if I could have a touch more butter.
He's a very capable assistant, is James, isn't he?
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Some boy.
Right.
Yeah, so, you want to make a nice emulsion, and once that asparagus is almost... You can add the fresh peas now, James. Okay. So get those in there like that. All right? And I just want that, really, reduced down, nice and glazed.
I can do that. This soup's warming up.
Dumpling mix is done.
So you'd roll those up into little balls, like
Yeah.
I'm saying, put them in the fridge, and we end up with what we've got in there.
And we've got that in there.
What have you just put in there?
So that's some seaweed, which has gone in there. So again, just all things that work really nice.
Okay.
We'll get the peas nice and cooked, and then we're just going to add last second, James, for you. That's just fresh red chilli.
Right.
Can I have a microplane, please,
Yes.
mate? And we're ready to plate up.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Is that a grade all right for you, Chef?
That's perfect. You turn the heat now
I'll turn
down.
it off. Yeah, I'm
thank
on it.
you.
Don't worry.
Yeah, all right. Just a touch of stock in there.
Yeah,
please.
I'm all over it for
Thank
you. Don't worry. Yeah, it's fine.
Lovely. Perfect.
It's like being on the line in number 6, isn't it?
It is. Right,
Now,
happy with that?
Yeah, it's absolutely spot on, mate.
Smashed it.
And now we plate up. If you could put the soup in the 2 jugs, which I think are behind me, please, James. Thank you.
You got this. You got this.
You reckon? So I'm
Yeah.
going to pour it in like that?
Easy.
Free
Come
fall.
on, come on. Yeah, see, chef.
Did he nail it, John?
Smashed it.
Smashed it.
Never in doubt, was it?
Well, it was a little bit.
Look how green that soup is.
Yeah, and the reason, as you know, John, it is just about just cooking the whole thing super, super quick, not messing around with it, and just allowing it to...
Keeping it vibrant and fresh.
Yeah, keeping it vibrant, exactly that. Keeping it vibrant, fresh. And you just put some of your asparagus in there. And then you just got this lovely, the emulsion of the cheese and the pillies.
Cheese and the pillies?
The cheese and the pillies. the chilies and the peas.
The cheese. Peas and chilies. No cheese in it, chef.
Get some of that. And that.
Do that?
Yeah, and then we just, with that same wild garlic, which is coming to the end, but you get right now, you get these lovely, the garlic flowers. So it's just keeping all the flavours that you've got in the dish, using every bit of every ingredient. And then just simply, with that really bright, lovely soup. And that is it. Prawn dumplings, asparagus, wild garlic and pea soup.
With no cheese in it.
With no cheese in it.
Paul Ainsworth,
Cheese and pillies.
Bon appetit. John, there you have it.
Look at that. Beautiful.
Yeah, mate.
Go on, then. That looks good. Looks good. It's good. It's good.
There you go.
You got it out of the pan, then, have you?
Yeah,
Or you
I'm
just don't-
quite happy eating out of the pan.
That is stunning, Paul. You get the texture of the prawns in dumpling, that freshness of crab just
Dumplings
comes
are
right
lovely,
through.
aren't they?
Yeah, really good. So
No, so
good.
if you didn't want to use the crab, you just use all prawns as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
All prawns, sausage. Yeah, absolutely.
Really, really nice. There you have it. Paul Ainsworth, everybody. Good luck with the book.
Thank you very much.
Here it is.
Thank you.
There we go. We've still got time for one final recipe, so join us again after the break where we're treating Jenny Faulkner and John McGuinness to a show-stopping roulade. See you in a bit. Welcome back to No Zone instead of Boy Zone. Welcome back to the last part of the show. I'm back in the kitchen with all my guests, the brilliant John Hooker, Paul Ainsworth, Matt Birchall, John McGuinness, and the brilliant Jenny Faulkner. Told you today was going to be a good show, didn't I, at the beginning of it? So we're going to finish this off with a pud. It's basically to slow both of you down, really. That's the key to it. But we're going to do a nice little pudding with meringue, and it's going to be like a passion fruit and raspberry roulade. So I'm going to put you guys to work. I want half of these blended. I want all of these taken out. I want some cream whipped up. And if you could do that while I make the meringue, that would be great.
Awesome. Let's
Off
go.
we go. So we're just going to make this meringue with some... So we've got 5 egg whites in here. We've got 275 grams of caster sugar, and I've got some almonds over here. We're going to line the tray. To line the tray ready for roulade, you just take your non-stick. I know John's really listening to this because he's really into baking.
I'm into eating it.
Of all the time I've known you, have you ever cooked anything apart from beans on toast?
Poached egg.
Poached egg.
You're pretty handy at poached egg, but
Poached egg is your thing, is it?
I've lost it all in a minute. I don't know
What
what's
do you
going
mean?
on. I don't know, I just can't do them anymore. Years ago,
It's not easy. It's not easy poaching egg.
There's a skill to
Don't
it.
give him that excuse. That's all. That's it in the kitchen. But you see,
do you know a good chef? I can teach me.
No,
You've not lost your beans on
Oh, yeah.
toast, though.
I can get away with that one.
Okay, good.
now, we've got to talk about those people just waking up. This is as well as I mean, your 2 wheels, 2 legs. Running is your thing, big time.
I do like running, actually, and it's just because of the way it makes you feel. I mean, I'm not like you. I don't win anything. I don't win any races, but it's not about that. To be a runner, it's about getting out there, getting active, and feeling good. That's
Because
what it is.
you've actually done the marathon,
I
haven't you?
have, yeah, 2019.
Did you love it?
I loved it, and I love your podcast as well. So, but I know exactly what you mean. There's that feeling. Yeah,
Well, you did it because you raised a lot of money as well, didn't you? Really?
I did. Yeah. You donated me a nice whack.
I did. Well, I
Quite a
got.
funny story, actually, isn't it?
Late night purchase.
3 o'clock in the morning, James Martin, £5 donation.
What, from a Yorkshireman?
I was supposed to put 50.00 and I forgot the decimal point.
So, yeah. But he actually went with it and said, yeah, that's right, mate. Yeah, so, you know, you're a mate of £5 grand. And then it was only a couple of years later when he'd had a few, he told me it was actually 50 quid. No, it wasn't. But it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I love that. I must send you a link to my...
No, I don't want any more links. That mixed with gin, I don't want any more of that because it starts to get a bit of a mess. Right, look, we've just got our meringue. I'm changing the subject very, very quickly. Right, we've got this over here. We're going to spread this over the top of here. And of course, we've got to recap about the TT because, Jenny, you've never seen this.
I haven't. Well, I've seen a few videos now of you. Oh, my goodness, how fast you go. It's incredible.
But if those people who haven't seen it, there's no other thing like it anywhere in the world, is there? Apart Northwest? What is it?
Yeah, there's a couple of races, Northwest 200 in Ireland, but nothing comes close to the TT. It's 38 miles long. It's got 260 corners. It goes over a real mountain, 2,000-foot mountain. So, yeah, it's hard, you know. It's a long way. It takes a couple of years to learn as well.
A couple of years to learn, but we mentioned earlier that, in fact, you started biking when you were a young kid. Do you train for that, or is it something that you decide that that's what you want to do because your parents have done it? And it seems to me like the TT is a real family thing. It's generations and generations. Is that the case with you?
Yeah, my dad used to race, and he brought me up, taking me to the Isle of Man to the TT race in 1982. I was 10 years old. He stuck me under the ropes down Bray Hill, one of the famous parts of the track. And when the bikes came through that bottom of Bray Hill at that point, I was like, you know, just as a young kid, it was in my head to do it one day. They were like superheroes, gladiators to me, racing around that track.
But that was when, what, the average speed was what?
Yeah, in them days, it'd be about 115, maybe 110 miles an hour averaging. But
there's a brilliant story, wasn't it? We didn't touch on it earlier with Murray Walker, where Murray Walker has been to a lot of these TCCs. What is it? Saw it at 70 mile an hour, 80 mile an hour, 90 mile an hour. And you were the first person to break the 130 mile an hour average speed. He sort of broke down, didn't he?
I was, yeah. I came in and to the winner's enclosure, and it was a great day. The sun was shining. The first 130 mile an hour, that was broken. It was the centenary year of the TT, so it's 100 years old. And I saw Murray, and he was sort of in the corner in tears. And I thought, are you OK, Murray? I thought, you know, are you OK? You know, and he was like, I never thought I'd ever witness the first 130 miles an hour that.
I mean, I've been to the TT. You're a biker and you've never been, but it's a thing that you have to go see. It is incredible. Look, so we just got on here as well. This is the meringue that I've topped with the almonds and everything. This sounds pretty. This is back down to earth, isn't it? He's doing 130 mile an hour average speed, and I'm just talking about this. You're running marathons everywhere. You take the meringue, set the oven 180 degrees. This goes in there for 8 minutes. After 8 minutes, reduce it down to 160 degrees for 10 minutes. This is what we end up is this meringue. Now, if these guys can hurry up with the cream and
we're tag teaming.
We're passing it around a bit over here, aren't we? There we go. Look, we're just going to take this as well. Now, as well as doing all this, you're on tour as well. You're on tour. Well, you and a biker, and you explain to this everybody. Just getting up, what the tour involves.
It's a little cruise around the country called Bikes and Banter, and it's me, an ex-racer called Jamie Whittam, and a couple of other riders who do the TT. And you know what? No script, just get on stage, and we just waffle on about motorbikes for an hour or two. It's great.
But look, we're just going to take this cream. This is the caramel that I've got on here. This is the meringue. So clean tea towel. We've got the passion fruit over here. Now, once you whip the cream up, we're going to take some of this curd. This is the passion fruit curd that I'm going to pop in here as well. And you almost want to do this right at the last minute. So you're racing against the machine now, aren't you?
You'll win, sir.
That's it. So a bit of that. And we do this, mix it all together. Thank you very much. That's it. Thank you. And then it's basically just bringing everything together. So if you can keep an eye on the caramel, this is going to dollop in here as well, like that. And we just sort of fold this in, and we pop that over here. So
nice. Oh, so you don't mix it up.
No,
thoroughly.
that's the idea. The idea is we just spread it over a little bit over here. You got those raspberry sauce, gents?
Yep.
Over there. Thank you very much. That gets dolloped on there. There you go. Bit of that. And then what I'm triggered about, do you have any superstitions that when you're at the start line at any of the marathons and stuff like that, is there a superstition that you go through?
Yeah, I always like to wear something red. It sounds really crazy, and it's not. It doesn't have to. It could be even red pants. It's just something red, and I don't know why. I just, for some reason, when I was younger, something red brought me luck, and so now somewhere on me there is something red. Even if it's like a hairband, something red.
Because you have a coin, though. Is that?
Do you have a coin?
That's your young lad, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
Is that luckier?
Yeah, lucky penny.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Well, my son found a penny in 2004 it was, and he was a little boy, little toddler, and then my wife puts it down my leathers at the start of the race that year, and I won my first Superbike TT. So that penny now comes with me every single time I race. So, and my wife puts it down my leathers. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but I've always had that.
I'm going to be watching you race next time I tune in. I'm like, where's the coin?
But look, we've got this is the little roulade, and we're going to finish this off with this lovely caramel, which then creates this nice sticky sort of caramel.
That's the best bit.
Crackle with it as well, over the top. Bit Jackson Pollocky, really, I think, Matt. Do you think?
Yeah.
Bit of that. And then finally, we've got some of this mint. And the reason why I'm using it, because I know these chefs are going to nick it and take home the plant. This is this amazing...
That's strawberry.
This is strawberry mint.
mint.
If you just take a little bit of that. Just take a little bit of that.
Oh.
This is a little bit of strawberry mint. We're just going to put this over the top.
Do you eat that?
You eat it, yeah.
Only told.
Dominic Nalt Green.
And you get to take that home with you as well.
Chef.
But look, we're going to take the raspberry mint. You can pick off the mint over the top over there, over the top, and there we have it. A little raspberry roulade to finish off the show.
Oh,
My job's done.
Good.
Nice.
Right, we'll portion this up. So if you can scoop on the old bit of raspberry, please, gentlemen. That'll be nice. But you've got the rhubarb. Look at this. And the meringue goes soft as well. Yeah, caramel on the top, but the meringue goes lovely and soft. Dollop a little bit of the sauce with it as well.
Looks really good.
Thank you very much. Still a bit for you.
Thank you. Does
Mr.
your,
McGuinness,
does
that's
your
for you.
leather have a stretch in it?
We've got stretch panels, yeah.
I wouldn't want that to rip when you're racing around the Isle of Man.
Have to breathe in.
There you go, gentlemen. Have a little bite of that.
That looks amazing.
There we go. Well, that's it. Everybody's happy. Happy customers. That's what we want. That's all we've got time for today. A massive thank you to all my guests, the brilliant Matt Birchall, John Hooker, Paul Ainsworth, and, of course, John McGuinness and Jenny Faulkner. Good luck with the book and good luck for the TT as well. We'll all be watching as well. We'll see you back at the same time next Saturday morning. We'll be joined by chefs Dipna Anand, Richard Burtonay, and Ashley Palmer-Watts will be here. And my guests will be Jordan North and William Hanson. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now. You like that, don't you?
Very nice. Sorry, bye.
Ramona's Heavenly Hummus sponsors James Martin's Saturday morning.